Thanks, Cathaoirleach, and I am happy and pleased to support Deputy Murphy's bill today on behalf of the Green Party. I think this is probably the fourth substantive debate now we've had on animal welfare-related issues in the term of this Dáil. We're discussing hare coursing today, we've discussed fox hunting, we've discussed puppy farms, and we've discussed greyhound racing. I want to recognise the work of those deputies who have brought these issues as private members' bills or motions. And I welcome the focus in this term of the Dáil on these particular issues. And I think it is indicative of the fact that people have moved past where the bigger parties are on issues of animal welfare. But unfortunately, for progress to be made, for laws to be changed, we need a majority across this House. In 2020, I was part of programme for government negotiations on a wide range of issues. I remember being in the room when we debated issues of animal welfare, and our party wasn't able to change the mind of the two other coalition parties at that time. And we know from the speeches given today already that even and when a vote is taken on Deputy Murphy's bill, there isn't a majority right now for this change. There isn't a majority for some of the other changes that have been debated. And I think it'll be interesting when the government's bill on puppy farms comes forward, and I welcome the fact that the government are advancing legislation on that, but it's not strong enough. And I hope we'll be able to see the government listen and be willing to make amendments to improve that particular piece of legislation. But the challenge is here that this House and the larger parties in this House are not where the people are at. So I think I do welcome the recent decision of the membership of Sinn Féin to change party policy there in respect of fox hunting. Chair, muzzling of coursing greyhounds was introduced in 1993. It was brought in for the coursing meets themselves. It's not done for training, of course. There's no law around that. But I don't believe the introduction of muzzling justifies this blood sport. I don't believe that you can muzzle cruelty. And while the coursing itself may no longer result in a live hare being torn apart, we still have to consider the trauma that a hare experiences in terms of its capture, in terms of a wild animal being held in captivity for a period of time, in terms of the trauma of the release from captivity if it survives the coursing meet, but most significantly, the trauma that comes from violent exposure to two far larger animals, even if they're muzzled, and all the risks that creates. We know that the Irish hare faces a variety of threats. It faces threats from hunting. It faces threats, probably most significantly, from the destruction of a large amount of its habitat. It faces threats from infectious diseases, rabbit hemorrhagic disease, European brown hare syndrome, and it faces competition from other species as well. Now, Minister, you made a point about the risk of, if Deputy Murphy's bill is passed, that hare coursing will be driven underground. Apologies, Minister, apologies. I know the point has been made about a risk of around hare coursing being driven underground. I think, first of all, it's important to recognise that illegal hare coursing already takes place underground. It's probably the biggest cause of mortality among hares right now, but I don't believe that the existence and the continued existence of an illegal practice justifies the continuous of state support for a practice that is currently legal. And I think, while it is important that the state takes those steps to deal with illegal coursing as it happens at the moment, I don't believe that should be linked to the continuance of hare coursing in legal meets. I see hare coursing as an issue that's interconnected with the wider issue of the greyhound industry in this country. And I have a real concern from multiple sets of parliamentary questions that I've submitted to the department and to the Greyhound Racing Board in terms of what the traceability system that has been put in place is actually showing us. And I think it's just worthwhile to talk about 1 year 2021, 11,600 greyhounds born that year. Those only 450 are still actively racing 5 years later. And of the rest, 1,500 have been rehomed. That's something I welcome. But 3,300 of those dogs born in 2021 are dead. These are dogs that didn't get past their fifth birthdays. And a further 5,300 have been exported to countries where we have no control over the animal welfare standards that they face. And those dogs may have been re-exported subsequently as well. And it's my view that the state provides significant funding to this particular industry, €20 million of taxpayers' money every year. It's my view that that funding shouldn't be provided anymore. And I know in the last all, my colleague, Deputy Manasseh Horrigan, brought forward private members' legislation to decouple the funding of greyhound racing from the funding of the wider equine industry. But ultimately, the point we are voting on tomorrow is the specific issue of hare coursing. And I and my party do not believe that the trauma caused by this practice, even in a muzzled context, is justified. I think Ireland should adopt the change, the evolution in thinking on this matter that has been seen in many other countries. The introduction of the muzzle in 1993 was a reflection of the fact that the Irish people no longer believed it was morally justifiable for a hare to be torn, a live hare to be torn apart at the end of a coursing. And I think the Irish people's views on the current existence of hare coursing have changed and have evolved and have become more trenchant in terms of their opposition as well. And again, I think tomorrow's vote will demonstrate a House that is out of step with where the Irish people are. Unfortunately, Deputy Murphy's bill won't pass, but I do think this matter will come before the House again. We haven't seen the end of this particular issue.